over a likeness of the Obama Hope campaign poster. But Hope has been changed to Rope, and there's a noose around his neck. Jackson is a commissioner in Caddo Parish, which has a history of violent resistance to Reconstruction after the Civil War. He had recently voted with a majority to remove a Confederate monument from the courthouse grounds. Louisiana State Police and the FBI are investigating. Debbie Elliott, NPR News.
The White House is confirming China will send a trade envoy to Washington next week as part of an effort to sit down and deal with what become an escalating trade dispute between the two countries. That announcement helped to send stocks up sharply today. The Dow rose 396 points, a gain of more than 1.5%. The Nasdaq closed up 32 points. The S&P 500 was up 22 points. You're listening to NPR.
Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, mail, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip, unzip it, lock it, fill it, call it, find it, view it, code it, jam, unlock it, surf it, scroll it, pause it, click it, cross it, crack it, switch, update it, name it, read it, tune it, print it, scan it, send it, fax, rename it, touch it, bring it, pay it, watch it, turn it, leave it, start, format it, Technologic. Technologic.
Live from studios in Self Hall on the beautiful campus of Jacksonville State University, it's the Hey Techies Show. Now, here are your hosts in chairs that should have been thrown out years ago, Michael, Bruce, and the Guru.
Technologic.
Well, Guru.
We just keep playing the music for a little while.
Guru. The Guru is here.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, and
Michael's here too.
I am here. I'm not sure if I'm barely here or I'm kind of here.
You're here. I see you. You're here.
It's in some physical form, but that's about the extent of it. I can tell you that, Guru. Well, Bruce is not here at the moment.
No, he's not. He may be in shortly.
Or he may not be at all.
Yeah. Or he may show up right now.
I would tell you where he's
No,
at.
he's not here right now.
But I don't think I'm allowed to.
He's on a secret mission.
Yeah, I actually think he went to he went to go to have a psychological test done.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I really think that's what's
This is the rumor segment already?
That is already, yeah, I believe.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and play that.
No, don't do it.
I can't stop it. I'm just kidding.
Well, Aretha Franklin died.
I know. Bless her heart.
Yeah.
I keep on humming in my head some of her tunes.
Yeah, 73 years old. I think that's what I saw.
I thought it was
73.
73.
No. That's 73 hit songs. What
was it 79?
Yeah, maybe that's right.
Anyway.
Oh, by the way. If you didn't, you probably knew this, Guru. You may not have known this. I don't know. I always forget this date today, but this is the same day Elvis died.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, apparently
I did not know that.
I forget that. I knew it's in August.
Well, two music legends passed on the same day.
76.
76.
Yeah.
But two music legends passed on the same
day
of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, 41 years ago, Elvis Presley died.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're talking about something that's not tech. Hey, you have reached the Hey Techies Show right here on WLJS, Jacksonville, Alabama. And if you would like to be a part of the show, we will attempt to see if all our gremlins have worked their way out.
We didn't test it beforehand.
Nah, we didn't
So
test
probably the best case tonight is just to send us an email.
You can try that. Nobody ever does. But you can try questions at heytechieshow.com. Also,
but that'll also work after the show because we'll get it for next week.
Yeah, you could call 256-782
5600.
And when we get the phone in order, we will watch to see if any of our friends might call tonight.
So we can't promise it's going to work.
We will attempt it. We can't promise anything, but don't let that stop you. We will figure out a way to get you on one way or the other. So, anyway, lots of stuff going on, and as always, it is. But some interesting things that I just caught my eye as I was sort of preparing for the show. And so we'll cover some of those. But AT&T's in the news. AT&T's usually in the news, but they're back in the news for an interesting story that I did not know about.
Yeah, I didn't know that either till you just shared it with me before the show.
We'll bring that up and cover that. And I got a lot of stuff.
We've got a lot of rumors tonight.
We
this
got
is
some
heavy rumor segment, and not Apple. Well, one of them's Apple.
Well, shocking.
Two of them are sort of Apple, but not really iPhone rumors, which were within weeks of expected announcement from Apple on the next iPhones.
Yeah.
But no really iPhone rumors this week.
And also, I hope to have a little discussion tonight, and maybe it would spark a call. I don't know, but I wonder how people feel about employees of any company. Doesn't matter what company. Okay, no, hold on. Expressing anything on Facebook, especially during, and we'll talk about it later, but I want to put that, make sure I write my note down. Guru doesn't want to talk about it at all. Well, I'm not talking about any particular people. I'm just saying in general, just generalize that social media in general. Now, I might have said Facebook, but I meant social media in general. Is that
I know a lot of potential employers, when you're applying for a job, they'll go out and search
and
social media.
Right. So we'll look into that. It's an interesting theory. Is that uncouth? Is that something you should really consider when you're online? How does this affect, or what am I saying might affect my employer in some way or shape? I think it's an important tech question. I think people should consider that. Guru's shaking his head over there. Guru's not going to say a word.
I'm not going there.
Well, no, I'm not. Here again, I'm being generic.
Well, I know that, but I still I don't talk about it.
But it's a valid topic. I mean, and especially now that a lot of social media, and we talked about it, you and I chatted about it last week. A lot of social media is now policing more than they ever have. Anything that's different, or anything that might fall under some type of well, I hate the term hate speech, but I know that's partly what they're talking about. Things like that. It's interesting to me. Also, there's some more MoviePass news, if there could be any more MoviePass news. I think the thing to note about MoviePass news is that it's totally confusing. And the fact that I don't go see many movies is only one reason of why I'm not a subscriber. Because who could keep up with it if you were a subscriber?
And related to MoviePass, I found something we'll talk about later with AMC theaters. They apparently have a similar program.
Yeah.
I found that this morning. I shared it with you. And you're like,
it was.
What's this you sent me? And I said,
I did look at it.
I want you to look further down the page, but it's like, oh, by the way, there's this little teaser at the top. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. And then Walmart has some news.
Yeah, Walmart's doing a little well. Yeah. I mean, they kind of really exceeded expectations on Wall Street today.
But now we talk about all kind of things on the show. We mostly stick with tech, but we talk about all kind of things on the show.
Right, but the Walmart thing is tech related because apparently they're really doing well in e-commerce.
I tried to get the story up, but unfortunately the story I found is behind a paywall.
Oh.
However, I've got a quick story here, Guru. A quick story before we get it, because this needs your expertise.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Well, I don't know what you're going to get out of me.
No, it really does.
Go ahead.
It really does. Did you know that Southwest Airlines, see, your expertise here, airplanes,
okay,
allow miniature horses as service animals?
Do what?
According to this. Guru,
as service animals?
Yes, Guru. If
miniature horses.
Listen, come September 17th, Guru, you can take your miniature horse aboard a Southwest flight as a trained service animal. They announced the policy change recently.
I know the airlines have been kind of trying to do a better job policing. I guess it's not. I don't know if that's a good term, but understand people that have a legitimate need for service animals, including emotional support animals. But I know previously, before they started, I hate to say regulating. That's really the government's job, but they are.
Well, they're regulating themselves.
Yes, where they're requiring. I know I've kind of read Deltas in detail. They kind of Delta requires more documentation from whoever's healthcare provider.
Yeah, exactly.
Is prescribed the emotional support animal. You just can't declare it like self-reported or self-declared, like this is my emotional support parrot.
Right.
And you have no
python snake.
Yeah, or no, and have we don't want snakes on planes, but
yeah.
But you just can't just say it and not have any kind of documentation from a healthcare provider. So miniature horses.
That's what it says.
How big is a miniature horse that you can take on?
Sometimes they're this. I've seen them fairly decent. I mean,
I
large
guess.
dog size.
Okay, well,
yeah, but still, I mean,
as long as they've got proper documentation from a doctor, I mean,
that's really not what I was thinking about.
What was you thinking about?
I've never had. I mean, I know people who own horses. My dad and my brother, they both own some horses. I just don't see how the holding bathroom thing works. I mean, yeah, I know you can train pets to be inside.
If it's a short flight, you can get from here. You can get from here to Orlando in a little over an hour.
Well, yeah, I know that.
That's quick. But I follow what you're saying.
Along with dogs and cats, they're supposedly the common service animals.
Yeah.
So, I thought I heard or saw a report this week, speaking of this, that some flights, and it may have been what you were bringing up, were only going to allow dogs and cats as service animals. They were going to limit it to dogs and cats.
Maybe the length of the flight, or maybe the equipment type, the aircraft, because
I don't know.
Some of these aircraft are tiny. I mean, not tiny.
Well, that's what I thought.
Some of them may hold only 50 passengers. So you think about, compared to like a 737, medium size, holds 150 or more passengers, and you go a third of that, and then you start adding, miniature ponies as support animals.
I know.
I mean,
and look, we just say that in passing like that's a normal thing, Yeah,
and I don't want to I don't want to discount people who have emotional support animals.
No, I'm not doing that, but even those,
it's just amazing that service animals in general, how they can be trained to help somber
I totally agree.
It's amazing that we're able to do that.
But can you I assume you have to buy another seat for them?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, I've seen some of these miniature ponies, and they're bigger than your toy dog. I mean, I don't think you're holding them in your lap. Yeah. Anyway, I saw it and I thought of you. Because of the effect of airplane, having to do with airplanes or airlines, and you obviously keep up with that stuff.
Yeah, I do.
Heavily keep up.
Well, I don't keep up heavily, but I do follow it.
Well, but
you
still,
have to send me that link to that. I'd love to hear. I like to pass it on to the Airline Pilot Guy podcast. I think that's Miami Rick what his thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I didn't have it. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I'll put it in the show notes. They didn't get in the show notes.
For long listeners of the show, Miami Rick was a guest. He's an airline pilot. Flies.
Yeah, that's correct.
A freight company.
He is the official airline pilot of the Hey Techies show.
Yes, he is. Yes.
Still is.
Oh, and will be.
Yes, absolutely.
Until one of us.
I mean, he doesn't. Yeah,
pilot.
right. And he doesn't know it, but yeah, long trip.
Yeah, we need to. Tell you what we need to do. Is we need to put that in a tweet and just tag him in it and say, since you're the official pilot of the Hey Techies show, how do you feel about this? And you can follow that on Twitter, or we'll report back next week.
By the way, I got it. I got it on the show notes. You can go out there and you can get the link.
Okay.
It's on our internal show notes.
Okay.
That we're supposed to be looking at and we share, right?
That Bruce never does.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Hey Techies show will be right back.
Oh.
After this short
ish. It's like 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes.
PSA break.
That's right.
Be right back.
We're just getting started. Plenty more Hey Techies show for your listening pleasure.
The skills you can develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you an edge in the high-tech job market of tomorrow. The Guard offers career training to take advantage of your skills in science, technology, engineering, and math that can help give you a leg up to a high-paying and rewarding STEM profession. Gain practical experience with emerging technology and equipment not found in the civilian world. The Army National Guard can get you started in an array of STEM-related career fields such as information technology, communication systems, special forces engineers, technical engineering, air traffic control, and chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear science. Get a head start on your career in an exciting new field while earning money to pay for college, all while serving in your own community. Log on to NationalGuard.com or talk to a recruiter in your area to learn about all of the STEM career opportunities available to you in the Army National Guard. Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard. Aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is an Alabama legacy moment.
The 375,000 acres that make up the 3 ranger districts of Talladega National Forest were purchased by the federal government in 1936 as part of an effort to restore clear-cut timberlands and farmlands no longer capable of producing crops. The beautiful reserve includes the 102-mile Pinhoti National Trail System and Alabama's highest and second highest points, Mount Cheaha and Duggar Mountain.
Sponsored by the Alabama Bicentennial Commission.
When a child plays with blocks, the skills of a future engineer, rocket scientist, contractor, and architect are developing. A child on the playground is practicing the skills of a future athlete. When a child creates art, the skills of a future illustrator, author, and artist are being discovered. In a first-class pre-K classroom, children do all these things and discover a lifetime love of learning. For more information on pre-K, go to children.alabama.gov or just Google pre-K in Alabama. Sponsored by Alabama Department of Early Childhood Education, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Welcome back into the Hey Techies Show, a little third day there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you knew that artist.
Well, I didn't remember the song until I heard Mac Powell start singing, and then
yes,
his voice is unmistakable.
Correct.
If you know who Third Day is, I mean, if you never heard him, then obviously
you
his
may
voice
not, but
would not be unmistakable.
Another question about Third Day.
I will try.
And that particular song is the lead. The song was called Revival. And that's the lead song of the album Revival.
Yes.
That they've done within the last few years. Do you know where that was recorded, that album, in particular that song?
I'm going to go out on a limb.
Uh-oh.
And guess it was recorded in Muscle Shoals.
You were absolutely correct.
Yeah.
What made you think?
Well, I think I did know that, actually. Not that you visited there recently, I think, but I did.
It was recorded at the famous Fame Studios in Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
Yeah, it has a particular sound.
Yes, it does.
The Muscle Shoals Studios.
The Muscle Shoals sound.
Yeah, that's right. And we're not talking about shellfish.
No, this is the Tennessee Valley of Alabama. For those not familiar, so about 3-ish hours.
So
from
speaking
here.
of that,
yeah. Anyway,
speaking of that, how did you like the Muscle Shoals?
Oh, it was a great trip up to Muscle Shoals or just the Shoals, because you have Florence, Muscle Shoals, Tuscumbia,
right?
You know that area.
But you got to go to the Capitol.
I got to go to Fame Studios.
Right.
I also went to Muscle Shoals Sound Studios, or the original side of it. They were there from like 61 to sometime in the 70s. Right. But the building that they used, the Muscle Shoals Music Foundation purchased the building like in 2003, and they received a large grant from Dr. Dre and Beats Music to they've restored the building to the way it was in 61.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh yeah.
And they still do recording out of that studio.
Yeah. Yeah, that's still a big recording.
In Fame Studios, that's a fully functioning recording studio.
Correct, yeah.
Even to this day, like Third Day, like 2 years ago, Third Day.
Oh, they record a lot of artists, actually.
Yeah, but the Third Day in particular, in that bumper we just played, they recorded that album there. But last couple months, who was it that went there? Because somebody was telling me about it. I can't remember now. He's very popular.
Oh, you're talking about another artist.
Another artist.
Yeah. Well, that narrows it down.
It was within the last few months.
I bet it's not Taylor Hicks, right?
I think Taylor has recorded there.
Oh, there we go.
But it was somebody within the last few months.
Bruce didn't know
visited
about it.
there because, like,
Swift. Who did I say? I said Taylor Hicks. I meant Taylor. Well, it is Taylor. I was right. I was thinking of Taylor Swift, but I said Taylor Hicks.
Taylor Swift probably did too.
I doubt it.
Steven Tyler.
Steven Tyler. Oh, okay.
He was there within the last few months. He came. He said he always wanted to record some songs in Fame Studios. Well, like his handlers and his people like set it all up. They tried to make it kind of hush hush. Well, he walks into the hotel and just like, hey, everybody. And they had it all planned where, we're going to get you in the back way, get you up to your room without, making a scene.
Right.
And he just walks in the front door. He's like, hey, how y'all doing? Goes up to the front desk. I need to check in. Like, you don't have to check in. You're Steven Tyler.
Yeah, well, I
thought that was a cool
I don't
story.
think he cares about I don't think he has a problem making a scene.
No, he does not.
Speaking of Steven Tyler, did you know that Aerosmith is they're starting a Las Vegas show? They're going to be in Las Vegas for I don't know how many years.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
I think it's at the MGM.
At the MGM?
I think so.
Okay.
They're going, like Celine Dion did. She had this,
like Wayne Newton.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have like I don't know how many times
an artist in residence type thing.
Correct.
At
right.
the MGM.
You can, and I understood from this morning's on the radio that you could. I used to on TV. I'm sorry. You can buy a ticket anywhere from $75 to $700.
Ooh, $700. 75 is a little steep, but usually those Vegas shows are a little pricey, depending on the artist and who's there. And
I was surprised it was that low.
Well,
we're talking about Aerosmith.
Yeah, it'd be cool to go see Aerosmith.
I mean, there's some of their songs are music in movies.
Oh,
big movies.
One I think of is Armageddon.
Yes. Armageddon.
Yeah, that's one that comes to mind off the top of my head.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, but Steven Tyler was recently in The Shoals.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
Well, there you go.
I missed him by a couple months, unfortunately.
Yeah. I kind of hate...
So I did, back to our Horse on the Plain story.
Yes.
I know it's real tech-related, but I did use tech. I used Twitter, and I sent a message to... our official pilot.
Yes.
We're going to call it, that's the title now. He's the official pilot, airline pilot of the Hey
Techies show.
Miami
Rick. And has been for several years.
Yeah, but I sent him
whether he knows it or not.
I sent him a message on Twitter and we'll see what he says. Maybe he'll get back with us for the show's over. We'll see.
You never know. Now, I mentioned AT&T, and this is I kind of hate Bruce is not here, but who knows?
Well, you want to save it?
We don't know if he's going to be here.
Well, we save for our dose.
Yeah, I guess we can try.
That's a good tease for our dose.
Yeah, we'll try to talk about that. Let's see. Well,
I got something else we can talk about in the interim. If you want me to do that.
What is my wife sending me a message
well, I'm going to go ahead and start talking about this while Michael's handling that. So, New York City recently has voted within the last week to cap the number of Uber and Lyft vehicles in the city.
Yes.
And this article from CNBC is stating in the title that it could also make the rides more expensive, and that makes perfect sense. Supply and demand. The supply is going to be constrained by this, cap. So the article talks about, the New York City Council passed regulations on ride-hail companies such as Uber and Lyft on Wednesday of this past week, capping the number of vehicles on the road for 1 year and requiring that drivers be paid a minimum wage. The year-long cap on new licenses for ride-hailing vehicles will take place while the Tax and Limousine Commission studies the effects of ride-hail service on the city. You'd think they'd already studied that. I mean, how long has Uber and Lyft been operating in New York City? But anyway, that's what they said. So the app-based ride services account for about 80,000 vehicles in New York City. Not 80,000 rides, 80,000 vehicles apparently are licensed through Uber and Lyft. And they provide 17 million rides per month, according to a study by the New School for the Taxi and Limousine Commission. A surge in ridership has coincided with increased resident frustration with the local subway system.
Huh.
So supporters of a cap have said the regulations will protect drivers, fairly regulate the industry, and reduce congestion. Here's a quote from Bill de Blasio, New York City mayor. He's quoted as saying, "Our city is directly confronting a crisis that is driving working New Yorkers into poverty and our streets into gridlock. The unchecked growth of app-based for-hire vehicle companies has demanded action, and now we have it." So this is for 12 months. Like I said, it's a 12-month pause on these new vehicle licenses. So there you go. There's a little bit
this
more
is not a surprise.
It's
I mean,
not.
this is no way a surprise. I'm going to guarantee you that those who own the little coins for the token, it's not called a token. I'll think of it in a little bit later. It'll hit me. You
talking about taxi cab drivers?
Yes. It's not called a token. What's it called? It's a little. They have to have one to operate.
Well, license.
Nah, I know, but it's actually a little token. I mean, they used to be worth about $1 million if you had one.
Are you talking about the people that operate like the
taxi cabs? No, no. Seriously, they called it something. I'll think of it later. It'll hit me later. I just can't remember what the name of it is. I've read about it and I've seen it. It's been in movies before too. But what I'm getting at is,
Go ahead.
What I'm getting at is, I'm sure that they have. Their union, they have tried every way to get this done.
Yeah, and I know.
I guarantee you they have.
The Uber, Lyft ride-hailing services have put a hamper on their business.
Oh, yeah.
And if there's frustration with the subway system, which I haven't been in New York in quite a while, so I can't really comment on the subway system. But I will say this. I'm going to say this. Now, I've ridden in New York City taxi cabs before. And I've ridden the subway before there. And times you need a taxi cab because you need to get somewhere in particular, and you don't want to spend hour or two trying to get to a subway and walk a country mile. Well, I guess it won't be a country mile, it's a city mile. Or anyway,
I'm listening.
But my thoughts are, and this is why I like Uber and Lyft, and I'm not against the people trying to earn a living as a taxi cab driver because that's their living, and
right.
they provide a great service, but Uber and Lyft provide where it's very easy to get a ride. You don't have to stand on the corner and try to hail a taxi cab or go to a taxi stand and all that. You can you pull out your device that everybody got now and say, "Hey, I want to go to this point. Take me here."
Right.
And they will tell you up front how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, right.
And you can pick if you need this. There's different levels of service.
Sure.
If you need a bigger vehicle or whatever. But you can get an upfront price. Now, I think Uber has recently implemented, like, if there's severe congestion and it takes longer, they could increase it slightly. But even with that, you still got a ballpark figure. It's going to cost me $10 to take this ride. And you decide then, do I want to do it? And most time it's probably yes. You say, yeah, I'll request my ride. Whether that's an Uber or Lyft works similarly in this case. And they come pick you up, and they're relatively prompt because they try to find somebody close to you. And that's what I like about it is it's
right.
you know up front within a range of what it's going to cost you. It's convenient, and you can debate the convenience of a taxi because in New York City there's tons of taxi cabs.
Oh,
so it's probably easy to find one, but you don't know up front how much it's going to cost you. You can ballpark it maybe if you've done it enough by experience, but there's been a few times I've ridden a taxi cab in New York City trying to go somewhere and he or she took a different route, and it took a little bit longer and cost a little bit more because it's all on the meter. I'm not trying to call out particular drivers because I think there's probably some great taxi cab drivers in the city, any city.
Right.
But just the way Uber and Lyft are leveraging technology to connect people who need rides to people who are offering rides, they've got a great business plan, a great mechanism to do that. And I think the Taxi and Limousine Commission in New York City and probably other cities need to figure this out too. Create you an app. Create the New York City Taxi app. I guarantee you, if there was an app for New York City taxis that gave you a similar experience where you could say, okay, I'm here, it knows where I'm at, I want to go there, and it's going to cost about this much. And you say, send me a taxi. I guarantee you people would use it.
It is estimated in 2016 that the population of just New York City, not New York State,
people.
8.55 million.
I can believe it.
8.55 million. 8.55 million.
With that many people in that area, most people don't own vehicles. I don't know what the percentage would be, but I bet you less than half own a vehicle. It's probably less than 30%.
In comparison, the population of Texas is 27.9 million. The entire state. And that
just like a third.
But
that's one city compared to 3 times in one state.
Los Angeles has 3.9 according to this, and Chicago has 2.7.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of folks to get different places.
Yeah.
And it's probably more than that now. And then that's just supposedly population.
That's not counting the tourists.
So there's probably another.
There's a couple million more.
At times, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's
probably over 10 to 12 million, depending on the time.
Well, it said in this article, according to that study by the New School, that in New York City, this is app-based ride services. This is not counting the taxis.
Right.
And I think they say Taxi and Limousine Commission. I think it also includes there's they're called car services where you can in advance reserve a car to come pick you up at the airport or something. But anyway, this is just like Uber, Lyft, these type. 80,000 vehicles, 17 million rides per month. Per month. So divide that by 30.
Yeah.
That's a lot of rides in a day.
Right.
I believe it for New York City.
According to Wikipedia.
And imagine a couple years ago, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
anyway,
before Uber and Lyft were a thing, those were probably being served by the taxi companies. So that's been a huge cut in their business. But like I said, they need to figure out some sort of an app-based way to hail a taxi cab. If you figure that out, then you'll be up there competing with Uber and Lyft. Just saying. Are you listening to us, New York City? Probably not. You should. Yeah, us folks in Alabama got some good ideas.
I really don't. I'm not saying that. I'm not even suggesting that won't work because I'm sure that's what people would love to have. There's no question about it.
And it's not going to be simple because the resources that Uber and Lyft have put into their app and that infrastructure behind the scenes, that's quite a task.
But
you just can't just whip it out in a weekend. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I got you. I got you quiet over there. Wow.
Well, I just really think it's going to be the taxi. Well, the taxi. What's the right term? It's just slipped. Boy, I'm having trouble remembering what I was going to talk about tonight. That's terrible. Here, let me put it this way. This will be simple.
I got something I want to.
The way a taxi system works, to me, is going to be difficult to change it to that format. To me, I'm not saying it wouldn't happen or it couldn't happen. I just think it's been entrenched working this way for so long. It's going to be like pulling out hair out of a person's head.
Right.
I
can see that because as we're humans, we're resistant to change. That's the way we've always done it mentality, which you can debate whether or not you should change it or not. We're not going there. But let me just, in this article from CNBC, which we'll link in the show notes, the public show notes, not the internal. Lyft's Vice President for Public Policy, Joseph Akpaku, I think I pronounced it right.
Sure.
Said that the cap could be harmful for communities underserved by yellow cabs. This is his quote. These sweeping cuts to transportation will bring New Yorkers back to an era of struggling to get a ride, particularly for communities of color and in the outer boroughs, he said in a statement. He goes on to say, we will never stop working to ensure New Yorkers have access to reliable and affordable transportation in every borough. That was from Lyft's Vice President of Public Policy, Joseph Okpaku, Okpaku. So their thing is that we're doing a service by giving people rides that are, they're not struggling to try to find a ride.
Yeah, I got you.
And I completely get that. Again, it's the app. I'm here. I need to go there, and they send a car to you.
Yeah, right. I mean, I understand how it works. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would much rather do that than try to hail a taxi cab. And what if you were out there, like they're saying, like not right there in Manhattan, you're out kind of, as some would call it, the country, but you're still in the city, out in like Queens, and you may not have the taxi cabs aren't just driving around out there. I mean, they're going to stay where they can find business, obviously, because they don't have an app.
Yeah, there's an app for that.
There's not an app for that. There should be an app for that, but there's an app for Lyft and Uber. Speaking of which, talking about going back to Florence, Muscle Shoals, Florence has Lyft now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, how about that?
Well, there you go.
So just as an aside, I mean, that has absolutely nothing to do with this article other than it's talking about Lyft. But anyway, that's interesting. And I'm planning a trip to New York here in 2 months with my family. And we had decided, I was like, okay, we were talking, we got our flights booked and all that. Okay, what are we going to do about getting from the airport to our hotel? And somebody in my family said, well, just do Uber or Lyft. I said, okay, sounds good. But then this came out, I said, we're going to book a car service. Because what's going to happen, Uber and Lyft are going to go the price is going to go up on getting a ride through them because of constrained supply.
Right.
Because the city's no longer for the next 12 months, they've stopped issuing new licenses. So anyway, interesting. We'll as we say a lot on the show, we shall see.
Yeah.
But the city council in New York they have the authority to do this kind of stuff. So we'll just kind of sit back and watch.
Mm-hmm. Something I just saw.
Yeah.
By the way, apparently baseball players, and I'm assuming this looks like it's talking about the National Baseball, Major League Baseball. Some of them want robots to be their umpires. They're tired of.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We've talked about this before a long time ago, something similar to this. They're tired, apparently, of balls and strikes being called the way they are, and they want it out of a human's hands, and they want it on a robot of some type. It can't be everybody, though. There's just so many differing opinions. It's got to be just a few.
Oh,
I don't know.
No comment. I do have a comment from Miami Rig. We'll change subject.
What's that?
He said it's about time.
Oh, it's
in regard to the allowing miniature horses as service animals.
Oh, really?
With a smiley emoji.
Smiley emoji, huh? Okay, Miami Rig.
I don't know if it's about time he's the official airline pilot of the show or is that you decide.
I think he's talking about those little horses. I don't know.
Anyway, I didn't mean to.
That's funny. Oh, thanks, Miami Rig, for getting back to us on that one. The little horses, huh? Anyway, yeah, apparently.
So robots to be umpires.
Or something that's AI of some type. I mean, they say robots, but it could just be cameras.
Yeah, it could be.
They already have.
Like the broadcast media that cover like Major League Baseball, they've got all this fancy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
They can show you where the ball, if it's in the strike zone and all that stuff.
Well, that's what they're wanting to do. But
I just think it takes away from the game of baseball.
Well, it does.
Because like if the manager, the coach doesn't like the call, he can't go up there and start yelling in the face of the umpire, What happens when you got to clear the bench because somebody gets hit? This happened, I saw this earlier. Apparently the other night at the Atlanta Braves game, like the first pitch of the game, one of the Atlanta players got hit.
That was last night.
Was it last night?
I think it was.
Cleared the bench. I mean, what are you going to do? I I mean, you're going to just let them run amok without, officials on the field?
Well, that is a different problem, too, because if you didn't have officials on the field at all.
And since we're talking about this, what about use AI in football games?
Well,
you don't need the
some would say they already do.
Don't need the officials.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever good. Well,
I'm just throwing that out there.
No, what I'm saying is
I'm not agreeing or disagreeing.
Correct, I know. I'm not sure. We talked a little bit about this on the show before, but we got football season around the corner, by the way.
That's what I thought about.
College and NFL.
Yeah.
And really, I just don't think it's viable. I just don't. With the way the sport moves and humans being unpredictable as they are, and with so many rules that you could do certain things that could be done via AI, because like NASCAR, they have an AI system that watches the pit boxes and hands out penalties based on things in the pits. Yeah. Oh, a smile has come.
No, Drew's chiming in virtually.
Oh gosh.
Who the man? he must be behind. I don't know if it's just he's streaming this or what.
Well, yeah, he'd have to.
Who will the manager kick dirt at when they disagree with the cost? That's what I said, Bruce.
That's what we're talking about.
Get in the face and yell at us. You kick dirt while you're yelling at him in the face.
Right. You could kick dirt on a robot.
What if it's AI though with cameras?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question.
Yeah, Bruce is streaming it, so.
Well, yeah, I figured
he's behind a couple of minutes. It seems like.
Yeah. We've already talked about you. And we've moved on.
Will it kick back, as Bruce is asking?
I suppose
it may.
It could kick back. I mean, hey, if they make one that's like a real robot, it could obviously kick back. Have you seen those crazy ones that jump and do all the kind of things? I've seen some that run. They're scary, kind of scary looking. They should put that one out there. It'd be very intimidating.
Yeah. Well, there's a robot. Speaking of robots, like at Kennedy Space Center, I was there a couple months ago. Like it just, it had a handler, I guess, following it. But like I stopped and there's like, you want to take a picture with him?
Yeah.
And I was like, sure. And like he knew, like the robot knew like how to was posing and everything with me. It was. Yeah. It's pretty slick. I think I did a thumbs up, and the robot did a thumbs up or something like that. I've got a picture somewhere.
As we go to break.
Oh, is it time for break?
Yeah. Bruce says Boston Robotics. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Bruce. Boston Robotics. Hey Techie Show will return after this quick break.
Don't go anywhere. There's more in the queue lined up just for you.
Alabama legacy moment.
Cheaha Mountain, often called Mount Cheaha, is the highest natural point in Alabama at 2,407 feet above sea level. It is located in north central Alabama in Cheaha State Park, surrounded by the Talladega National Forest in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. This dramatic landscape gets its name from the Creek Indian name for the mountain, Chaha, meaning high place.
Sponsored by the Alabama Bicentennial Commission, the ABA, and this station.
When a child plays with blocks, the skills of a future engineer, rocket scientist, contractor, and architect are developing. When a child expresses himself with colors, paint, and clay, the skills of a future illustrator, author, and artist are being discovered. A child on the playground is developing the skills of a future athlete. When a child is involved in dramatic play, she's learning the skills of a future doctor, nurse, and veterinarian. In Science Center investigations, a young child practices the skills of a future horticulturist, inventor, and archaeologist. During circle time sharing, the skills of a future teacher, lawyer, and journalist are being explored. A child reading a story in the library is honing the skills of a future librarian, teacher, researcher, and writer. Future stars are born in the classroom's music center. In a first-class pre-K classroom, children do all these things, and in the meantime, they discover a lifetime love of learning. For more information, go to children.alabama.gov. Sponsored by the Alabama Department of Early Childhood Education, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
This is an Alabama legacy moment.
In the late 1960s, NASCAR founder Bill France was hunting for a location for a new racetrack that would rival the size and speed of Daytona. Eventually, he settled on an abandoned airfield near Talladega, Alabama, and started construction on May 23, 1968. Hello, I'm Bobby Allison. NASCAR 1983 Cup champion and 4-time winner here at Talladega Superspeedway, as it was renamed in 1989. With 33-degree bank turns and 2.66 miles of asphalt, it's the fastest racetrack in the nation. Bill Elliott set the existing NASCAR speed record here in 1987. Every driver that's run at Talladega has had a wild ride or
Welcome back in to the Hey Techies show. That was unison. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Little Danny Goki.
So Musk, he's been tweeting a lot. Everybody knows that, and
he's a maverick in terms of getting out there throwing stuff out there on Twitter.
He's a maverick.
He's taken after the president, our president, President Trump.
Well, he's doing something.
So this is an article from Ars Technica, and we discussed this on the show. Was it last week, week 4?
Several weeks.
In case you don't remember, or you didn't hear this, so Musk a couple weeks ago put a tweet out there saying basically, hey, we're thinking about bringing Tesla back private as a private company.
No, he was basically saying he had the funding to do it.
So, excuse me. Here's the article from Ars Technica. Elon Musk left traders scratching their heads last week after tweeting that he was thinking about taking Tesla private for $420 a share and had quote unquote funding secured,
right,
end quote, to do so. Musk finally cleared up some of the confusion on Monday. This was, I think, this week. Yes. I think, the 15th. Yeah, this was when this article. So Monday this week, he published a blog post. I didn't know he had a blog, saying that Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund was the funder he had in mind when he posted his funding secured tweet. But Musk's Monday post mostly raised questions about whether he truly had the kind of commitment from the Saudis that would justify his tweet. Musk wrote that he came out of a July 31st meeting with, quote, no question that a deal with the Saudi sovereign fund could be closed, end quote.
Am I the only one? And I can't be. And I'm sure I'm not the first person to say this, but I haven't really listened to a lot of commentary on this on purpose. But I cannot be the only one that would find it odd that a person who is wanting to be as far away from the combustion engine
is
wanting to get backing from people who've made their money.
They got the money
for the power plant fuel of the combustion engine, be it airplane, car, boat, train, whatever. If it burns a carbon-based fuel, the Saudis have probably, in some way, shape, or form, have pulled it out of the ground. I imagine this. What was it? The Saudi? What was it?
There's more to this. So Musk himself acknowledges that he didn't and still doesn't have anything like that from the Saudis in terms of, I guess, a commitment. Yeah. There's there's a quote here again that the fund. This is from the sources told New York Times this week that Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund, quote, had taken none of the steps that such an ambitious transaction would entail, like preparing a term sheet or hiring a financial advisor to work on the deal, end quote. And it goes on to say, this article, there's a problem here. Here's the problem. Federal securities laws make it illegal for a CEO to publish inaccurate, market-moving information about his or her company. Media reports indicate that the Securities and Exchange Commission is investigating Musk's tweet, and the investigation has reportedly intensified this week, with the agency subpoenaing Tesla for details about Musk's proposal. At the same time, Tesla and Musk are facing class action lawsuits from traders who traded on the basis of last week's tweets. So he comes out and says, I got funding secured for this taking Tesla private. This is a publicly traded company, so the Securities and Exchange Commission, they have purview over this kind of stuff, you know, these type of companies with the trading of said equity in the company.
Right.
So they come out with this quote. He comes out, CEO of the company says, yeah, I got funding secured. We're going to take it private. So people start buying. We're going to get in on this because, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Like we discussed, when you take a company private, you have to offer well above the current market price to get people to sell their shares, you know, to basically turn them in and sell them.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I can see where he can get some trouble here. And theoretically, this is another part of the article, that the penalties for securities fraud could include criminal prosecution and a bar on serving as the CEO of a public company. But there's two people on here that they quoted. I missed that part of the article, but somebody in this article, according to the article, they said the remedies were unlikely to occur here, and that criminal prosecution would have to be referred to the Department of Justice.
Well, yeah.
And that the extreme step is rarely taken in this kind of case. I mean, the penalties could be up to that, but of course, it has to be the Department of Justice to get involved. But they didn't expect. The expert didn't expect the CEO to try to bar Musk from being a Tesla CEO.
That is a good point. Oh, Bruce. He said it's not like it was insider. He let everyone know. He did announce, so that's true.
He did.
I think everybody could have got in on it. That's right.
But they could, according to this, the SEC, not the Southeastern Conference, Securities and Exchange Commission, could seek to enforce the law against Musk personally. So somebody told Ars Technica that Musk's net worth is around $20 billion, though most of that wealth is tied up in Tesla and SpaceX stock. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then it goes on. There's a section here about announcing news on social media. Social media is probably legal. Both Diamond and Sjorstam, I guess some experts that Ars talked to, brought up a famous case involving Netflix CEO Reed Hastings in 2012. He posted in a public Facebook post that Netflix monthly viewing exceeded 1 billion hours for the first time ever in June. That also triggered an investigation by the Securities and Exchange Commission. They require public companies to provide information on an equal basis to all market participants. Traditionally, companies do this by filing an 8-K form with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Hastings didn't do that, raising concern that Facebook users might have an unfair advantage over others who do not use Facebook.
Yeah, you have to be careful how you
announce
there's a lot of
you gotta dot your I's, cross your T's when you're releasing stuff public,
and
to a publicly traded company.
And we've said this on the show weeks ago, but I think that's part of the reason why. Sorry, I keep getting buzzed on my device here. That's part of the reason why Musk wants to take it private. He's tired of dealing with these rigid rules as he thinks they are.
Well, like I say, he's a maverick. He's just like,
it's a maverick.
I mean,
I guess in his own mind, I guess he's a maverick.
Well, Bruce is distracted. I gotta.
Well, I can't. I keep. It looks like I keep getting the same text over and over again.
That's because you got an Android phone.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Well, I do. That is true, but that's not the reason.
Get an iPhone. It solves your problem. Like I told
somebody, heavens. I can't repeat all that on the radio, Bruce. I'm sorry. It's just too long.
So we got some more Musk news. You want to talk about this?
Why not? We're in the Musk.
We've got 3 minutes.
We got the Musk minute.
Break. So Musk's Boring Company proposes a one-way 3.6-mile tunnel to Dodger Stadium. So we'll make traffic better, but it's a good test run before Chicago. That's what the little kind of sub headline here. So Musk's 2-year-old tunnel digging venture has proposed yet another project in the Los Angeles area. I mean, that's all they do. We want to do this, we want to do that, we want to do this. But anyway, this is in the Los Angeles area. They want to do a one-way, 3.6-mile tunnel from a lot near L.A. Metro Station to Dodger Stadium. Currently, it's just a proposal, and it needs approval by the L.A. City Council, as well as all permitting necessary to tunnel under the Echo Park and Silver Lake neighborhoods. That's not trivial. In parens, there are at least 5 separate agencies that would need to be involved in the process of building this tunnel.
I just don't get these tunnels. I'm sorry.
But the Boring Company has offered 3 possibilities for a western terminus of the tunnel, either in Los Feliz, East Hollywood, or Rampart Village. Each neighborhood has an L.A. Metro station that could be used, and the Boring Company proposes that it would buy a piece of property within walking distance of that station to set up its own station. However, to speed up the permitting process, the Boring Company says the tunnel will run entirely beneath public right-of-way or land owned or leased by the Boring Company. And the Boring Company will also set up Dodger Stadium terminal on privately owned property, quote, at or near Dodger Stadium parking lot, end quote.
Okay.
So the mayor has been, L.A. Mayor Eric Garcetti has been a huge proponent of Musk's ventures. According to Wired, Garcetti said on Wednesday the Boring Company Dodger Stadium tunnel, which will be called the Dugout Loop, is, quote, a great example of public-private partnership, end quote. So there you go. There's more to it here, but so the Boring Company wants to do another tunnel.
Hey, go for it.
Next week they'll want to do another tunnel.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the point of having a business. You're always trying to push what you can do.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'd be curious to see if this happens. If any of these tunnel projects happen.
Just getting the approvals necessary, going through, they said 5 different agencies.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting, to say the least. I don't care where you're at in the country, having to get 5 different government entities to sign off on this project.
If you throw around enough money, you can get it done.
You may be able to. We'll see. I mean, Musk,
how politicians like money. So.
Well, Musk, he sent his Tesla to Mars.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's still rotating around up there, huh? It's Tesla to Mars. Boring. Yeah, it's totally boring.
We're trying to fill this last thing.
Yeah, are you trying to say the show's boring, Bruce? Oh, my gosh. We're filling this show with boring stuff.
We're having fantastic episodes.
Yes, our dose is coming up pretty quickly,
That's
actually.
right, yeah.
I tell you, I can't believe it.
This first hour has just flown by.
It has. It really has. It just flew. Yeah. Well, hey, don't go anywhere because we got more stories queued up for you coming back after the break in our
Dose
Hey Techies show. Be right back.
You've listened this long, so stick around for our dose.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Speer. Former CIA Director John Brennan says President Trump is trying to scare his critics into silence. But as NPR's Scott Horsley reports, Brennan himself is getting some criticism from the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee.
John Brennan had his security clearance revoked this week by President Trump. The former spy chief has been an outspoken critic of the president, and in an op-ed for the New York Times, he argues Trump stripped his clearance to send a warning to anyone else who might dare to challenge the president. In that same op-ed, Brennan disputes Trump's claim that there was no collusion between his campaign and Russia as, quote, hogwash. Senate Intelligence Committee Chairman Richard Burr raised his eyebrows at that. In a statement, Burr wonders if Brennan is leaking classified information and suggests if Brennan is so sure there was collusion, he should be talking to the special counsel, not the New York Times. Scott Horsley, NPR News, the White House.
President Donald Trump, past President Barack Obama, and the mayor of Detroit, her hometown, are among those paying tribute today to Aretha Franklin, the woman known as the Queen of Soul, dying as a result of an advanced form of a type of pancreatic cancer. Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan says Franklin was a true icon and a symbol of that city.
So Aretha Franklin was a daughter of Detroit, but she was also a daughter of the civil rights movement, and she meant so much to Detroiters on so many levels.
Franklin recorded hundreds of songs, including top 10 hits like Respect, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, and Chain of Fools. She died this morning at her home in Detroit. Aretha Franklin was 76 years old. A bipartisan Senate report says the Trump administration is failing to care for thousands of unaccompanied migrant children after they leave government custody. Here's NPR's Richard Gonzalez.
The report concludes that the government does not adequately monitor the safety and welfare of thousands of unaccompanied minors who are released either to their parents or sponsors, such as relatives. At a hearing before a Senate Homeland Security Subcommittee, Missouri Senator Claire McCaskill blasted federal officials.
We can't get anybody to acknowledge that they have responsibility for where these children are and what they're doing 30 days after they leave a federal facility.
In a joint statement before the hearing, the Departments of Health and Human Services, Homeland Security, and Justice called the subcommittee's report misleading and blamed Congress for failing to prevent illegal immigration. Richard Gonzalez, NPR News.
A federal judge is ordering the U.S. State Department to conduct a more thorough review of the Keystone XL pipeline's proposed pathway after Nebraska state regulators changed the route. U.S. District Court judge in Montana ruling the State Department needs to supplement its 2014 environmental impact study of the project to take the new route into consideration. Stocks gained ground today on Wall Street. The Dow is up 396 points to 25,558. The Nasdaq up 32. The S&P 500 rose 22 points. This is NPR.
Technologic.
Welcome back into our
dose
of the Hey Techies Show.
I was a little quick on that dose.
So glad you're here with us tonight and hope everybody's doing well this evening. So
we teased this during the first hour about your AT&T story.
Yes.
So now we're at the time where we can pull back the curtain, so to speak.
Well, I don't know about if it's a big curtain, but I was surprised.
Maybe a tiny curtain.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, apparently the headline is AT&T sued for enabling SIM swap fraud.
SIM swap fraud.
Yeah, that's basically where you have your somebody ports your number behind your back with swapping the SIM to another device. Your number, everything is sent to another phone.
Okay.
For your number.
That would make for a bad day.
And some people believe
I call Michael and I get some random dude.
Well, I think that would be the minor issue. The other issue is all of your communications, your text, anything like that. If you reset a password and that text goes to that, that's how someone would.
Ooh.
So see, somebody
So think about when you have to like for example, log into Twitter. If you have two-factor turned on, and you log in on a new device, or you've got there's different ways you set it, but you log in and it sends you a text message.
Correct. So
now you're not getting said text.
Somebody else is.
And if they had your password too,
yeah,
that would be well, they would be able just to tweet random stuff about you.
But what they're getting sued over is actually they're getting sued for a person who had all of his Bitcoin, or at least that's what they're saying, $24 million of Bitcoin taken out of his account.
So they're saying basically somebody.
Well, I'm going to read it. But
go ahead.
So basically what happened was that someone on the outside of AT&T,
okay,
a hacker, if you want to call them, for lack of a better term, they supposedly got in cahoots with someone on the inside of AT&T, according to the complaint.
Okay.
And they helped the outside person do a SIM swap, and I guess they had to do some kind of port swap to be able to get access, so that they got a SMS two-factor authentication, I guess text or however it was. They didn't go into great detail of.
Well, if it was if it was like a SIM swap or port swap or phone number swap, it would have to be like a SMS for the
right. I know, I understand, right? But what I'm saying is but somehow or another they were able, and this isn't extremely clear to me, but I know what a SIM swap is, so that's where I'm going from. But the SMS part is he must have had the ability to connect to his cryptocurrency information with two-factor set up with a SIM two-factor. Basically, I mean SMS two-factor. I said that wrong.
But in order for them to be successful at this bad guy, we'll just call him bad guy, hacker, as you called him.
Right.
Him or her. So they've had to have the guy's password too, right? Or was able to reset it.
Well, that's where I'm saying that we don't have totally clarity about.
But they had to have that first factor. Somehow they got that first factor, which is your password or the person's password. But that two-factor is supposed to save you because they have to have it's more than what you know. It's something you have, your device. But then somebody nefariously at AT&T allegedly
stick with
allegedly switched out to where
so here's what it
this
says.
SMS got redirected.
Here's a quote. Even after AT&T had placed a vaunted additional protection on his account after an early hacking incident. So this person's
so this is not the first time.
No, this individual, I mean, he's wealthy and he's known. Oh, here we go. What? Yeah, it could have been a social engineering attack.
You're right, Bruce.
On his account, after an earlier hacking incident, an imposter posing as Mr. Terrapin was able to easily obtain Mr. Terrapin's telephone number from an insider cooperating with the hacker without the AT&T store employee requiring him to present valid identification or give Mr. Terrapin's required password. The purloined telephone number was accessed to hack Mr. Terrapin's account, resulting in the loss of nearly $24 million in cryptocurrency coin. According to this complaint, it was AT&T's act of providing hackers with access to Mr. Terrapin's telephone number without adhering to its security procedures that allowed the cryptocurrency theft to occur. Now, of course, that is the complainant, I guess the plaintiff in this case.
Yes.
Making their complaint about what they believe happened. So, obviously go to trial and all that good stuff. So this goes on to say that porting targets phone numbers to another device to be able to receive the second authentication factor, usually SMS, is an approach that has been used by hackers for many years. And with the rising popularity of cryptocurrency, criminals have focused on compromising and emptying victims' cryptocurrency accounts, clearly.
What state is this in, Bruce is asking?
I don't have that. I know the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California is where it's being sued, so I assume this is happening somewhere out in California.
Okay, that'd be safe to assume as well. So
I did not include that. I should have.
I don't know why Bruce is asking that. This is kind of interesting having to relay commentary from Bruce. He said yes. I guess this is I get the kind of feeling when I send y'all's messages during the show. And you stop talking because you read it, and
yeah. No, I read your messages. What are you talking about?
I wish Bruce was here, but this is interesting. This is like one of the first times that is publicly out there about somebody basically having their second factor hijacked and their first factor, so they lost control of their Bitcoin. In this case.
Person is not new to this world, by the way. Of these type of events. This is Mr. Terrapin. He's according to this, in 2013 he started BitAngels, the first angel group for investing in Bitcoin companies, and Coin Agenda, the first high-end investor series for family offices and funds investing in digital assets.
Bruce is saying in California, punitive damages cannot exceed a 10-to-1 ratio.
Well, they're asking for he's asking for $200 million. So,
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, as we've said earlier, that we shall see. That's why he's asking for so much. He's asking for the max, according to Bruce.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
who would?
Shoot for the stars, and
that's
then
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if he could prove that here's my problem. Yes, you could sue AT&T, and you may have a valid argument to sue them. I'm not saying he doesn't. But what I'm getting at is there is no way that any big company like AT&T can guarantee that every person they hire would not commit a crime. That's impossible. No company can do that. Now, obviously they're probably liable at the end of the day because they're the company, and this is where this guy works, and they've made promises to keep people's data safe, per se.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm sure there's some liability there, and that's why they pay lawyers and insurance and all those other good things, but or bad things, depending on how you want to look at it. But I so I'm not defending AT&T, God forbid. You know me.
Oh no, yeah.
But I'm just saying I can understand how from the standpoint of trying to see it on all sides, I can see how that.
Oh, Bruce is thinking. Wonder if he is in on the con. He is in the plaintiff, or he is in the person who did the SIM swap. And he said insider threat programs, they should be able to track the action of their employees. I mean, there's a lot of AI and stuff now to try to
and I'm sure that's true.
Raise red flags about things going on internally.
And I will say this. It does sound to me that they would have had, possibly for something this advanced, they might have had to have some insider help. This sounds pretty advanced.
Yes.
I mean, this is sort of like that whole Ocean's 11 series where they're breaking into a vault that has the money from three casinos. I mean, it's sort of advanced like that. It's so many moving parts, not exactly.
Oh yeah, yeah. But again, back to the whole nature of two-factor, you've got to have. If somebody, like, you give up your password, you still have to have your device, and vice versa. Because if someone got your device,
right.
I mean,
that's
password.
the point. Yeah.
So you're on to something there. I mean, this was this took quite some effort.
Yeah, I mean, this is planned. I mean, highly planned out. Had to be.
I mean, AT&T may very well be partly the victim here too. But I mean,
well, that's true.
But I don't want to pass judgment because it's not our place to. But just random thought coming out. But but it makes you. It's just kind of one of those interesting things,
Yeah. Well, when we come back from break, we'll move on to.
We got a bunch of rumors.
Well, we do. We're probably going to hit rumors when we come back. And we've got quite a few, so stick with us. Hey, Techies Show. Be right back.
No representation is made that the opinions of hosts here are better than those of the average tech show, but we think so.
This is an Alabama legacy moment.
The Little River Canyon National Preserve, located in Cherokee County, was created in 1992 by an act of the U.S. Congress and was dedicated as a unit of the National Park Service. The area's focal point is the Little River, which flows along Lookout Mountain and is an outdoor recreation destination. Small waterfalls, sandstone bluffs, trails, creeks, and streams draw visitors to the area.
Sponsored by the Alabama Bicentennial Commission, the ABA, and this station.
When a child plays with blocks, the skills of a future engineer, rocket scientist, contractor, and architect are developing. A child on the playground is practicing the skills of a future athlete. When a child creates art, the skills of a future illustrator, author, and artist are being discovered. In a first-class pre-K classroom, children do all these things and discover a lifetime love of learning. For more information on pre-K, go to children.alabama.gov or just Google pre-K in Alabama. Sponsored by Alabama Department of Early Childhood Education, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
An Alabama legacy moment.
Birmingham native Erskine Hawkins was a prominent African-American trumpeter, bandleader, and composer during the big band era of the 1930s and 40s. His Erskine Hawkins Orchestra was a popular dance band in New York City, and with it he recorded the hit Tuxedo Junction, about a streetcar intersection on the Ensley-Fairfield line that was a center of nightlife for African Americans. Hawkins is a member of the Alabama Music and the Alabama Jazz Halls of Fame.
Sponsored by the Alabama Bicentennial Commission, the ABA, and this station.
Welcome back into the Hey Techies Show. Big Daddy Weave there.
That's right.
Well, I don't know about you all, but I appreciate Bruce tuning in tonight. It's so nice to have him tuning in tonight. Thank you, Bruce, for listening to the show.
Even though it's quite awkward trying to read these live on the air.
Yes.
But,
it's not awkward at all.
We'll try to keep this less awkward. The rumors. As I said earlier, we have several rumors tonight. Usually we just been kind of dry on the rumor front, but we got a couple different ones tonight. Anyway, first one. I'm trying to ignore Bruce here for a few minutes. Sorry, Bruce. I'm trying to read here. This first one is an Apple rumor, and it's not an iPhone rumor. So Apple is expected to release new MacBook Air at the end of the third quarter, September or October, according to a Taiwanese research firm, TrendForce. That lines up either with September or October, depending on, So they also refer to a new MacBook Pro in future tense, but it's surely referring to the models released in July. Here's the quote. The second quarter was the transition period when Apple was preparing for the releases of the upcoming new MacBook devices for the year. TrendForce therefore expects MacBook shipments to again post a large quarter-over-quarter increase in third quarter of 2018, as Apple will be releasing a new MacBook Pro at the start of the quarter and a new MacBook Air at the end of the quarter.
Right.
So we had the MacBook Pros at the beginning of the quarter. That was within the last month. So September, October, new MacBook Air. And there was a period of time, and I was even believing like the MacBook Air was starting to kind of be a segment of their product line that was kind of, they were trying to narrow it out and go back to, MacBook Pro, MacBook, and that's it.
Yeah,
maybe there's some life in the MacBook Air, which I have a MacBook Air. I like it. It's don't have as much power as a MacBook Pro.
I meant to ask my relative. Speaking of MacBook, let me write this down mentally and put a mental. We got to mention something after we get done with this because I just remembered something. There's a big problem with the MacBook Pro. Another big problem.
Oh, another one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about audio. I just remembered that.
Oh, really?
Okay,
we'll talk about it here at the end. But also there was a claim earlier this year that Digitimes claimed that Apple will release the first MacBook Air with a Retina display second half of 2018. And it noted that it will be a 13-inch model in a separate report. So, I think this is coming up. We'll see. September, October, gets them ready for the holiday shopping season.
Yeah.
So there you go. And this article goes on to also say the current MacBook Air hasn't seen any substantial updates in over 3 years. Since that time, Apple has discontinued the 11-inch model, while the processor on the base 13-inch model will receive a minor bump in clock speed, but it's still a Broadwell chip from the 14-15 timeframe, 2014-2015 timeframe, that is. So we'll see how that goes. So that's that. You want to keep going, or you want to talk about?
Go ahead.
Okay. This is another rumor. So Valve,
yes,
who they are. They seem to be working on tools to get Windows games running on Linux.
Wow,
how about that? So Valve appears, the Ars Technica article, and Valve appears to be working on a set of quote compatibility tools end quote called Steam Play.
Yes,
that would allow at least some Windows-based titles to run on Linux-based Steam OS systems. Yesterday, Reddit users noticed that Steam's GUI files, as captured by SteamDB's Steam Tracker, include a hidden section with unused text related to the unannounced Steam Play system. According to that text, Steam Play will automatically install compatibility tools that will allow you to play games from your library that were built for other operating systems. If they did that, this is Bruce. If they did that, I would swap in a heartbeat.
Oh, of course he would.
Oh, I found this. I saw
shocking.
I saw this. I thought of you, Bruce.
That's just shocking.
Not just run Linux as a VM. Like he's switching, going. He's gonna run Linux.
No, I know.
Linux, against hard metal.
The heartbeat of his hard metal would be Linux. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't believe it's gonna be all there. Why would they want why would Microsoft? I shouldn't say that. Microsoft would come up with something to not allow all their products to be done that way.
Well, if the games are on the Steam platform,
right?
So they have some control, but they're also using libraries and other kind of
would have to.
Yeah, it's like Java. We have the different libraries already there. But they're making use some Windows features, different things to manage the OS. And this is theoretically possible. But the question is, if for them to do this and actually bring it to market, would it actually not Wine?
Yeah, Wine. They use that in Linux to run.
The question is
Windows.
They'll only bring this stuff to market if it actually doesn't cause any performance impact on the game.
Yeah, that's a good question.
And that's the thing. There's usually there could be some potential overhead by doing this. You can do anything you want in programming, but what cost, processor, memory,
right?
That stuff. So this is interesting though, because these folks that have a PC just for gaming.
The only problem I have with this is that this kind of thing has been discussed a humpteen dozen times about something that's going to excite everybody to Linux, and people are going to run in droves, and it never really materializes.
But I think Steam has got the opportunity here. I really think. The Wine thing with the the Windows emulation on Linux, that was look at this is cool, but.
And that is never. That a lot of people have gotten that to work. Obviously, people have, but it's not straightforward.
But
that is something.
But do you have like a consumer, use case for it? That's a stretch. But if Steam can figure this out on Steam OS,
yeah,
then they've got that use case.
Yeah.
And then there's actually a market behind it for them to actually.
Oh sure, there's
going
to
be development effort towards it. You can do anything you want to put enough effort towards it.
Right.
So my next rumor, former Tesla lead engineer Doug Field returns to Apple.
Oh my goodness!
To work on Project Titan.
Bless his heart.
Apple's former VP of Mac hardware engineering.
Project Titan.
But Apple's former VP of Mac hardware engineering Doug Field has returned to the tech giant's ranks after 5 years working at Tesla, where he oversaw production of the Model 3. Daring Fireball reporter John Gruber broke the news on Thursday. Today, this is breaking. No, this was last week, Friday. I'm sorry, last Thursday. After speaking to an Apple spokesperson who confirmed that Field had returned to the company that he left in 2013. Go ahead. That's the headline there.
Yeah, but now I realize it's just a name of a project. So I got that
right,
but let's just say it. Let's just say that it's a car. I'm not saying it's a car. I'm saying let's say it. If this
for purpose of this conversation,
it could be a car. Yeah. It's some kind of car.
Right.
They can't name it Titan.
What's this Project Titan? It's just like
I know, but I don't. There's a Titan truck.
Well, I know that's just what they're calling the project.
I know, I got it, but
it's like when the government brought over
I know what the projects are called. I know how it works.
But let me tell you, when like the government they acquired all those German engineering information back in World War II, and like the engineers that came over, they called that Project Paperclip.
Yeah,
such a stupid name. Paperclip, but look what they did.
I know. I get it.
That's just the name of a project.
No, like Titan.
Titan.
Yeah, like the truck.
If you
Nissan Titan.
If you go to our internal show notes document,
no, he's never going to go there. What are you
can read the article with us. But
yeah,
Apple began this Project Titan in 2014.
Yeah,
with upwards of 1,000 employees who were said to have been working on developing an electric vehicle, like we said, at a secret location near its Cupertino headquarters. Yeah, he knows about the show.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, you do. You just don't ever read it. Of course, little is known about this Project Titan, but court documents filed in July indicate that as many as 5,000 people are authorized at Apple to access information about the project.
No, but anyway, we know it. I was just posing a question.
And of course,
go ahead.
This article also says Apple's working on a self-driving shuttle service called PALE, an acronym for Palo Alto to Infinite Loop. Shuttle program would transport employees between Apple's office in Silicon Valley. So,
Yeah. Okay. You have no way to prove that.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that one.
Anyway, you gotta give us proof, Bruce. But
yeah, we need physical proof.
Those were my three, and I see you've got one here about the Pixel 3.
Yeah, and Bruce does not care about the Pixel 3. He's so disappointed. But I look, I just got a headline. I'm gonna jump off the headline. Okay.
Okay.
Google Pixel 3 XL shows up on a video apparently with a 6.7-inch display and 3430 milliamp battery. 3430 milliamp battery.
What's so significant about that?
That's a pretty big battery.
Is it? Okay.
I mean, I don't know what the
video's here too. It's got a notch.
Might as well get an iPhone 10.
It's got a notch. And the iPhone 10,
I know.
The iPhone 10's notch is not as big as the notch on this rumored Pixel 3. Yeah, get it out. Yeah, you just need to get it out.
That is the other thing. There's supposedly 3 front-facing cameras, and they're not really sure why there's 3. There's different theories as to why there would be 3 front-facing cameras. Obviously, one of them would possibly have something to do with facial recognition, but that still doesn't make sense why there would be 3.
Yeah.
2 would make sense that there was some kind of
facial recognition and then 2 selfie cameras.
Well, there could be, but they say it's rumored that they're all 3 8 megapixel on the front, and it would be a 12.2 on the back.
Yeah, I was just reading that Qualcomm Snapdragon 845.
Yeah, I mean it's not.
64 gig RAM.
It's about
64 gig of storage, 4 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, I mean it's.
Yeah, I mean,
is it earth shattering? I don't know.
Well, I tell you what's earth shattering when Bruce gets an iPhone. That's going to be earth shattering.
Yeah, it's not earth shattering to Bruce. I can tell you.
It's not. It's not to Bruce.
Yeah, it is a deep notch. I agree. I don't disagree with you there. Yeah.
So what was you going to bring up about MacBook Pro?
Well, there was a little thing that I read about many people are saying that they're having issues with the new MacBook Pro by clicking audio. And I actually went out and watched a video, and it's really bad, distorted, and clicky. It makes and this is what's interesting. Some smart folks have used dual boot, or I guess
Boot Camp.
Boot Camp, thank you.
Yeah.
And they boot up their Windows OS, and it still does it.
Oh,
so what they're saying is their theory is it's not software, it's a hardware issue.
Yeah, I mean it could potentially be a driver because the Boot Camp drivers for Windows, Apple does develop those.
That is true.
That is a possibility. You can't rule that out.
No, that's a good point. It could be something related to that, but
that's highly unlikely.
Yeah,
it's more leaning towards a hardware issue,
which would be a nightmare.
Oh yes,
I mean another nightmare about the product.
Make Keyboard Gate look like nothing.
And something else. Somebody caught me today. We've got a lot of young ladies on campus. This is sorority rush this week, and a young lady caught me today, and she said, "Oh, I've left my house. I'm all the way here, and I'm just asking. I don't have a charger for my new MacBook."
New one with USB-C.
Right. I said that's going to be a problem. I said, because everybody just doesn't have that. But here's the thing, though. Yeah. Think about this. And I know this could happen to almost anything you got, but USB-C is supposed to be universal. That's the idea. It's a universal. Okay.
Yes.
Here's the problem. If it I don't know whether on theirs, but if it's USB-C on both ends, you're limiting the possibility of finding a charger that if you have a USB cable on both USB-C on both ends, then you've got another problem.
Because usually what ships with like a mobile device is A and then C on the other end.
But with my phone, it's USB-C on both ends.
Okay.
My phone has a charger that has USB-C on both ends.
But is the power brick powerful enough?
Well, see, that's the other thing. With Apple especially. And
talking about charging a laptop.
I know. I understand. You'd have to have a power brick that's powerful enough, 13 watts or better, probably.
Probably more than that, but yeah.
Yeah. So you've got several issues, and she was saying
better off just going and buying a new one.
Well, she was saying I would go to. She said, "Well, let me go to Walmart." I said,
No.
I don't think they're going to have. They might have the USB-C cable, but they're not going to have the Apple Power Brick that you allow.
I would be shocked if Walmart carried it. And no offense to Walmart.
Well, not in the store for sure.
Yeah, you can order it. You can order from Amazon. You can order from Walmart.com. You order from Apple.com.
Right.
It just depends on would it be better.
But I mean, it's things like.
Would you rather purchase one and leave the other one at your house, or go get it, or have someone bring it to you, or ship it to you? I mean, I don't know the distance between here and where she lives.
Okay, so Bruce says his phone charger charges his wife's MacBook Pro. I wondered about that. See, so that my phone that would be my phone charger too.
So if she could get a USB-C like power brick and cable,
probably,
and she may be able to get by.
Right.
It may take a long time to charge, but you could get by.
And actually, my phone charges very fast. Oh, by the way, I updated my phone to Android Pie.
Pie. Well, where's the pie we're going to share tonight?
I know.
We said we're going to bring pie tonight to like partake.
That's
in.
True.
I like pecan pie.
That's okay. I'm not a big fan.
I like lemon meringue.
Apple pie's okay.
Yeah, I like apple pie.
Coconut cream pie.
I should have got some apple pies at McDonald's earlier.
Well, there you go. We could have celebrated pie. But
anyway.
now Guru wouldn't, because he doesn't have a Android device. But
I still would have ate pie with you.
Yeah, I know you would have. Anyway, that's pretty much our rumors segment in a nutshell, I guess.
It's going to be interesting to see about that rumored hardware issue with the MacBook Pro's audio.
I'm beginning to you can. This is not hard to find. Just go look for it on YouTube. You can find these videos.
Put it in the show notes.
Well, I have to go look it up. But
okay.
many people are putting these out there, and it'd be curious to see. Apple could go several ways with this. Their normal way is you're holding it wrong. But in this instance, I don't think that's going to work for this one. I think
they'll have some. If this is truly hardware, they'll probably have some campaign where you can bring your device in and they'll repair it at no cost.
Man, what a frustration! Everybody doesn't live near a store. I mean,
I know.
Sometimes even the closest store is hundreds of miles away.
Yes, you're absolutely
if you're
right.
lucky.
And then with that, you would have to. That wouldn't be probably a repair that could be done on site.
Maybe not.
You would probably have to leave it with them.
You
for
would think
a period of time.
Very possible. I'm making assumptions here, but with these new all-in-one aluminum frames, the way they are, I don't know. The way they're assembled is very delicately. I'm sure. And yes. I mean that what I'm saying is it's not easy to tear one apart, almost impossible, unless you have the manufacturing ability to do that.
So, but Apple's got plenty of money.
Well,
They're making plenty of sales.
Here we go. I get that, but this is not something they wanted to happen, obviously. And if it's why now, some people are saying that they don't experience this. I have seen posts where some people say, "Well, I don't have this issue." So it's not necessarily every MacBook Pro. Okay, so apparently it is sporadic. But
the one's built on Friday.
Yeah, Guru, I have heard it, and it is very.
Have you heard it in like real life?
No, I haven't heard it in real life. I've heard it on YouTube.
Okay.
I've seen somebody doing it, and it is very.
I was just curious. I mean, I'm not doubting.
No.
The YouTube
right,
videos.
It's very noticeable. I mean, it is like a popping, clicking, distorted sound, and it doesn't really matter at what volume.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not like you're overpowering the speaker.
No, it sounds like that's what you're doing, but it's not. I mean, I did listen to it, so it's interesting.
So speaking of, I tried to segue us, and it kind of got destroyed, but that's okay.
Oh, good job, Michael.
I was talking about. That's okay. I was talking about sales.
Yeah.
And I wanted to use that to segue into. Heard it through the grapevine, Bruce. Okay. I wanted to segue into, we've talked about Walmart on the show before. And
right.
Walmart struggles. So let's call it struggles because, I mean, it's no secret that Amazon's just kind of eating their lunch. I think we're all guilty of using Amazon a lot. Maybe we would have gotten it at Walmart or somewhere else in the past. But some good news from Walmart today. They announced their earnings for the second quarter, in sales. Their comparable store sales, which are sales from stores that have been open more than a year,
right,
grew 4.5% during the second quarter. And e-commerce sales grew 40%.
Okay.
Q2 GAAP net loss per share of 29 cents. Adjusted earnings per share of $1.29. I don't know all those terms. I'm not a finance person. Total revenue was $128 billion, an increase of $4.7 billion or 3.8%.
Okay.
But the e-commerce increase, that's comp store sales. This is a press release, so but apparently this is the best performing quarter Walmart's had in a decade.
Best performing quarter.
Yes, according to some Wall Street gurus, not this guru. But Wall Street liked what they saw today because Walmart stock was up 9% today, or $8.42 a share, closed at $98.64 a share.
Huh.
So had a 9% increase in one day, over this. So, I mean, it looks like, Walmart's doing something right here. I mean, I'm not saying they're overtaking Amazon like leaps and bounds, but I mean, they're trying to fend off Amazon and other e-commerce competition.
Right.
We talked on the show before about the the grocery pickup, and they have these. I don't know if we talked about this on the show. A friend of mine told me about some of the stores have these. They call them pickup towers.
Okay.
This big old tower in the store.
We have talked about that.
And
you mentioned it one day.
Yeah, I must have mentioned it, but
anyway.
But I mean, they're doing things to try to make it convenient and get people into stores, or this grocery stuff. I mean, it's basically you had to go shop in the store, which is making it convenient, which is driving more business. And I'm not sure how they recognize that as e-commerce or not. Probably not. But anyway, I just thought that was very fascinating, and not fascinating. It was good news for Walmart, and I think having Walmart around is good for competition. I know in the past they've kind of driven out the mom and pops in certain communities, so there's kind of a love-hate relationship with Walmart with some people.
Bruce says they have this feature in Gadsden.
Oh, the pickup tower?
That's what he says.
I hadn't been up there at that store in a while. I don't go to Walmart much anymore because I use the grocery pickup. And usually the people doing it like, hey, how are you doing?
Oh, let me tell you a funny story. Speaking of that, I'm glad you brought that up. My wife will kill me, but she'll never hear this, so she won't know.
All right, Fran, make sure you listen to this.
So we go to the store
at 8:41. Fran, make sure you listen.
Right. So we realized that there's some things that are not on the app, and we just had to have them, that we desperately needed to have them. So we realized this, so Fran said, well, we'll take a cooler and, put our cold stuff in. We got a decent-sized cooler.
Okay.
And she said, I think everything will fit. Well, we get over there. She forgotten we ordered like 3 pizzas, that are in a box.
Oh, yeah.
There was no way they were fitting. I mean, so we just had to leave. Everything was fine, but I said, well, we'll just have to do it because we're already here. But, yeah, so this thing works so well that my wife orders stuff, and she does, she's ordering, it's not a lot, but it's enough that you kind of forget what you ordered. Plus, the way she's doing it, and it's good, she's starting days early and keeps adding to the list. She's like building a grocery list as she goes.
That's how I do it.
Right. And then when she gets done, she says, no, I'm done.
Yeah, because you can
Right.
Your cart stays persistent, and they've done a good job with the app because they have a like grocery.walmart.com website, but if you put something on your cart on the grocery app, it shows up on the website as in your cart too, so it's tied to your account. And yeah, like you're sitting at your laptop, oh, I need to get this, I just go search for it, boom. Or I've got my phone, and that's what I'll do a lot of times. I'll realize I need something.
Right.
I'll just put it in there, and then usually about 2 or so days out, I'll actually check out and pick up and select a pickup time, because you don't get to reserve your slot to actually check out.
Right.
You know, so. And sometimes I forget, and it's like, oh, there's no more slot left at that time.
I know,
and I have to figure out an alternate plan of when I can pick up my groceries.
It is doing well, so.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And I heard that the one here, the one closest to WLJS in Anniston Walmart location, like, they've had to increase their staff doing the e-commerce stuff, in particular the grocery pickup. I've got a friend that's over that. I used to work with him at another place. So one within the last few weeks, he's the one that came out and loaded my stuff in the car. So we were catching up, and he was telling me about he's had to keep on adding more employees that work, in this program.
Yeah.
So it's very popular.
I'll tell you one thing I think I've noticed, though.
What's that?
And I don't know if we brought it up on the show, but I think we're spending less money doing this.
You know what? Somebody in my family made the same comment. You spend less money.
Because we don't go through there and say, oh, I see that, I want that. Oh, I think I'm on
You go through and you have to consciously add it to the app. So you're kind of like looking, whether you take inventory once a week or you're doing as you go.
We're almost getting what we need.
Yes, I would agree.
We're replacing what we use and what we need. So it's interesting. I don't know. Well, when the Hey Techies show returns,
we'll talk about more stuff.
We'll talk about more tech. Or who knows what. Well, Hey Techies show. Be right back.
HeyTechiesShow.com. Open 24/7, as long as we don't forget to pay the bill.
This is an Alabama legacy moment.
Harper Lee is best known as the author of one of the most affecting and widely read books of American literature, To Kill a Mockingbird. The native Alabamian drew deeply from her coming-of-age years in her small hometown of Monroeville. The film version of To Kill a Mockingbird underscored the success of the novel with its own success.
Sponsored by the Alabama Bicentennial Commission, the ABA, and this station.
The skills you can develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you an edge in the high-tech job market of tomorrow. The Guard offers career training to take advantage of your skills in science, technology, engineering, and math that can help give you a leg up to a high-paying and rewarding STEM profession. Get a head start on your career while earning money to pay for college. Log on to NationalGuard.com to learn about all of the STEM career opportunities in the Army National Guard. Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard. Aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
An Alabama legacy moment.
Ruby Pickens Tart was one of the foremost chroniclers of folklore, folk music, and narratives of African Americans in rural Alabama. She helped to fill the manuscript and music collections of the Library of Congress and the Federal Writers Project. Ruby Pickens Tart continues to affect the world of folk music and culture as her notes are rediscovered by a new generation of scholars and musicians. She was inducted into the Alabama Women's Hall of Fame in 1980.
Sponsored by the Alabama Bicentennial Commission, the ABA, and this station.
You're
Welcome back into the Hey Techies show. Some plum there for you tonight. Right.
So
Chris has got some things to jump right in.
Who's Chris?
I don't know. I meant the guru.
That's right.
You never know. You never know what name I'll come up with.
Maybe Chris is out there in the hall.
You'll never know what I come up with.
So I got two quick things here. Well, one's quicker than the other. So Verizon and Apple have teamed up to offer Verizon Wireless Unlimited subscribers 6 free months of Apple Music.
6 free months.
This was I can't talk. This was announced last week. I'm a week old on this, but it's a partnership which will see Verizon Unlimited customers able to sign up to receive 6 months of Apple Music for free. So starting on Thursday, August 16th, so that's today, Both new and existing customers who have one of Verizon's unlimited wireless plans can access a special offer for 6 months of Apple Music at no cost. Following this period, the subscription will be priced at $9.99 per month, the standard cost for Apple Music subscription. It's available to both new and existing Apple Music subscribers. So even if you're already an existing Apple Music subscriber, you can still get this 6 months at no cost. According to Verizon, current Apple Music subscribers will get the same 6 months of free service as new subscribers, but will be required to cancel and reactivate their Apple Music subscriptions. So I guess if you're already paying for it, you have to cancel it and then resubscribe to get the free 6 months. Which, I mean, if you're a Verizon Wireless Unlimited customer, I mean, might as well. You just got to remember, in 6 months, if you don't want it, you have to cancel it. It'll start charging you. And Verizon offers 3 unlimited plans, starting at $75 for a single line. Includes unlimited talk, text, LTE data, but offer varying video quality mobile hotspot limits.
Well, it's not going to be unlimited. I mean, that's a joke.
That's a little asterisk after unlimited.
Yeah, that's a joke.
Anyway, we've talked about the Verizon Unlimited before, but that was that. And then this is one that may we'll discuss a little bit. So Kroger is beginning tests of driverless grocery delivery in Arizona. So we were talking about the online grocery pickup from Walmart. Well, U.S. supermarket operator Kroger said it will start testing driverless grocery delivery on Thursday. So I guess that's today, with technology partner Neuro at a single Fry's food store in Scottsdale, Arizona. I think that's a subsidiary of Kroger, Fry's food store. So Kroger and rival Walmart each have teamed up with autonomous vehicle companies in a bid to lower the high cost of the last mile deliveries to customers' doorsteps. And Kroger wants to bring more. This is a quote from Kroger's chief digital officer, Yael Cosette. Kroger wants to bring more customers the convenience of affordable grocery delivery. He also added the test will also gauge consumer demand for the service.
So they're trying to. They want to get after the folks that just don't want to get out of the house, period, huh?
Yes. And the next phase of this test will use a fleet of Toyota Prius cars equipped with Neuro technology. These cars will have seats for humans who can override the autonomous systems in the event of an error or emergency. So anyway, yeah, and I know Walmart's been trying to figure out the delivery piece. That's kind of their next step. I think they're kind of in a phased approach here, but yeah, I know one of the Walmart grocery pickup people said, well, will you come see us when you have delivery? I said, I don't know how to think about that one. It'd be nice y'all if you deliver the groceries to my house. I'm just saying. But yeah.
Well,
so what do you think about that? Or no comment. We'll see. That's our famous line around here is we shall see.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I will say this, that I have a companion article that sort of dovetails with that now.
Well, let me interrupt you real quick. We had another reply to my tweet to Miami Rick about the the emotional support pony or miniature horse. Micah, our friend, our main man Micah.
Yes.
He said, as a service animal, miniature horses are required by federal law. Emotional support animals can be more limited. And he's absolutely right. If it's a true service animal, there's federal laws that say you have to. Was that article about emotional support, or did it say? Do you remember?
It was the Southwest.
I know that
they were allowing.
They called it service animals in this article.
I think it was service animals in the article.
Yeah, trained service animals. So in that sense, they kind of have to because of federal law. But I know we kind of dovetailed, I guess, that into a discussion about emotional support.
Yeah, but other animals can be marked as service animals.
Yes, absolutely. It's not just a dog as a service animal.
But I mean,
look, other service animals.
I think that some animals would not be able to be legal service animals.
Well,
I mean,
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an expert on all that, but service animals falls under ADA.
Yeah, I get that.
That's where the federal government gets
involved. I get that, but think about it. You're not getting a full-size horse on a plane. There's a physical limit to some of this.
Yes, I agree with you there.
I mean, look, what if their service animal could legally, if somebody could, you know how the law works, legally could be said it's an elephant. I mean, you can't even take that in a car, much less an airplane. I think we're not even going down a slippery slope here. This is just an impossible slope. There's certain just the physics of it, okay, just the physics of it alone will limit what animals can be service animals. At some point, physics has to come into it. And
I'm not debating you there. But, Micah, thank you for setting that straight, because you're absolutely right about service animals. They are
correct.
The federal laws, require them to.
Yes, absolutely, and I totally agree.
And there's guidelines on that.
I
think the emotional support's a broader category.
I still think
I'm not an expert on it.
I think on an airplane, there's a special circumstance here. I don't know. I would be interested to know if that would apply to all. It just seems like to me that an airplane's a different issue.
Just we need to find out and we'll report back.
I just don't know if you could just say every service animal could be. I would think the airline would have the ability to deny based on physical ability to contain the animal in the fuselage. I mean, there could be certain. I can just see some animals.
Emotional support. Service gorilla.
Well, yeah, but I think we're being silly now.
Oh, I know.
But that is a good point. I mean, I think surely there is a documentation somewhere. What is officially the service animal? What breeds are officially a service animal? There's got to be. It can't just be anything. I mean, somebody could say that my snake is a service animal.
One thing we can be assured about this whole conversation from the first hour and now is Miami Rick is the official airline pilot of the show.
Of course, and it has been from day one.
Well, I know
when he's first on the show.
I'm sorry to hijack that. So go ahead with what you were dovetailing off the Kroger.
Real quickly now.
Yeah.
FoxBusiness.com.
Okay.
I don't think they did the survey. I'm trying to figure out in this article who actually did the survey. Let's see. Looks like a study from Cox Automotive. It says here that nearly half of Americans don't want a self-driving car, says survey.
More than half?
Says nearly half.
Nearly half, okay.
Yeah. Then, that could be like 49.9.9.9%,
yes.
The way they write these articles. But just to give you a little statistics here, 49% of respondents said they would never own a fully autonomous car. Known in the, by the way, that for this article's sake, that's known in the industry as a level 5. So a level 2 would be like assisted driving. It gives you lane assist and that kind of thing.
Right.
A level 5 would be totally autonomous. So that gives you a little background of what kind of levels we're talking about.
Yeah. So they said how many were fine with level 2?
Well, I will get to that.
Okay.
So 2 years ago, 30% said they would never buy one. So now, according to this, and I don't know if you can, these are apples and all that, but now, according to this, it's up to 49%. Let's see. Meanwhile, let's say a majority of people, says 63%, believe in 2016 that roadways would be safer if all vehicles were fully autonomous. That number has dropped to 45%, according to this survey. Let's see, I got some more things here. A whopping 71% of baby boomers said they wouldn't buy one, more than any other generation. Well, that's not surprising, actually.
Yeah.
Let's see. Overall, more people would feel uncomfortable riding in an AV driven by a computer, 68%, than hitching a ride with a stranger, 39%. Okay, so I'm not sure if I follow that one, but okay. Let's see. They would feel more uncomfortable.
Just pick a random person and hitch a ride. They're more comfortable with that
versus riding in a vehicle without someone driving it. Well, that's debatable.
I think we've discussed this on the show before, that it's hard for us as Americans and as people who drive vehicles to give that up.
Yeah.
We have an emotional attachment. I guess we need an emotional support.
Yeah.
Something.
Okay. That's a serious thing.
No. I'm being completely funny there.
But now look, if given a choice, here's more of the article. More people would choose a level 2 vehicle. No. Okay.
That's the one that keeps you in the lane.
Right.
Helps you,
so a level 2 corrects lane drift and avoids forward rear collisions. That's a level 2.
Okay.
So it says if given a choice, more people would choose a level 2 vehicle down from the most common preference of level 4 in 2016. So in 2016, most people would be comfortable with level 4. I can only imagine. This is his. I don't know. His crown jewel.
Bruce is being
Bruce.
He said I was hilarious and said that's a Bruce level joke there. Well, I'm trying to channel my inner Bruce. Bruce is like the peanut gallery tonight, you know.
Bruce level joke there. Okay, Bruce. I don't even remember what the joke was you just got out of your mouth. I'll have to go back and listen, I guess. And you, if you want to listen, you can go back to the HeyTechieShow.com. And you can listen to all our podcasts, by the way.
Yes.
Just a quick blurb. But anyway, this is interesting to me. I always find these surveys fascinating. Of course, you can worry. I don't see the actual survey questions. It'd be interesting to see because you can word these questions and get about whatever response you
survey
want.
says we're leaning more towards
accepting
it, but still have a long way.
61% of respondents had seen the news coverage of Uber incidents. That was
probably it ain't higher than that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's about the part where I said that we have an emotional attachment to our vehicles and may need some
emotional support. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
It's gonna take quite some time. We're not ready as a society to just turn over driving to the computer overlords.
The computer overlords.
That's right.
Ooh,
that's scary. I know.
Yeah. We're getting close.
I know we got 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's been a good show.
It has been.
You know, Bruce has been the
kind of had Bruce.
We kind of had Bruce, but he's in the peanut gallery.
Yeah, that's right. He was like the two old men up in the top shelf of the Muppets.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's who he was tonight.
Hey, sometimes that's good.
You need that though.
Yeah, they're a little. I don't know what you call that.
Yeah. Well, look, from all of us to all of you, we really hope you have a fabulous weekend. We've enjoyed having the show tonight. And, of course, we got the fall session coming up here starting next week at Jacksonville State University. There'll be other shows, student-led shows here on the radio.
You have something else to listen to besides us.
Yeah, and there may be something that's trying to kick us out of here next week or the next week. Hey, Techies Show. See you next week.
The Hey Techies Show is produced by The Guru and co-produced by Mike Stedham. Join us again next time for another exciting installment of The Hey Techies Show. It's going to be great, maybe.